Hi, it's yet another edition on Eliso Live, and tonight we are talking education, that is, private and universal primary education. Did you know that Sir Apollo Kagwa Memorial Primary School Manyangwa scored a 7 aggregate with Joshua Mwanguzi? Check it out.
My name is Wasa Elijah. I'm in primary 5 West. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
My name is Nachinga Thwaiba and I want to be a surgeon doctor.
I'm Winch Daniel and I want to become a doctor when I grow up.
I'm Mayemo Solna and I want to be a pilot.
Sammy Lincoln. I want to become a pilot when I grow up.
My name is Atos. I want to be a doctor in the future.
My name is Jeda Chisache Chumulu. I want to be a surgeon.
My name is Ngaga Eddie. I want to be a soldier in future.
I want to be a lawyer.
Education is a powerful activity directed at achieving certain aims, such as transmitting knowledge or fostering skills and character traits. These aims may include development of understanding, rationality, kindness, and honesty.
So by 2 here, and by 2 here, 4. Therefore our P is as good as what? 4.
Various researchers emphasize the role of critical thinking in order to distinguish education from ideological indoctrinations. But do you think Uganda's education is running by these founding intentions?
Our forefathers had a dream. Where you found a church, you found a school or schools. Where you found a church, you found a health facility. Where you found a church, you found a water facility, and even a recreational ground. In other words, our forefathers wanted to meet almost all the needs of the community. However, as time went on, the performance in church-founded schools went on declining, especially when it came to the introduction of the privatization of education, the competition that has come in, but also the laxity that has been brought in as a result of management.
This is Manyangwa Township, home to Sir Apollo Kagwa Memorial Primary School, a church-founded school and aided by the government of Uganda under the universal primary education. Like many universal primary education aided government schools, it's not very popular, especially to the corporate class of Ugandans, as they wake up so early as 5 a.m. to rush their kids to trendy private schools.
Now the results are out for senior 1, for P7 and senior 4. We have already seen parents moving up and down looking for places, even leaving schools where their children put first choice. You find a child from one of the districts like in Ruwero, even my district in Ruwero where I come from, they are taking children because they say that a child has got 5, which they are not expecting, from a UPE school. A child has got 10 from a USE school, which they are not expecting. Now a parent feels that's the right time to take a child from there to Kisubi and other schools. But remember, the fees they charge in some of these schools is so high. Now, to me, I call this one is just excitement. I also give an example. When I was talking to some parents, I hear one of the parents can say, my child is studying at Nile school in Jinja or some other primary school where they are charging maybe 15,000 as a UPA school. When he hears that, for example, in Kampala parents or Green Hill or Caterpillar Primary School in Kampala, they are paying 2.5, 1.5 or 2 million, they want to be associated with big figures of money. That's pride.
Joshua Mwanguzi is a primary 7 leaver of 2022 at 12 years of age. He managed to score aggregate 7, passing within the first grading system of Uganda National Examinations Board. He says that it is being resilient and hardworking that got him in the first grading.
My mother is a single mother and she is a pharmacy attendant. She struggles to make us educated, but she doesn't get a big salary, but she's trying her level best. I believe one day when I become a medical doctor, I will make her own a pharmacy.
Here our recruitment in P1, it is 6 years. Somebody has attained 6 years, irrespective has gone to nursery or not, we recruit that child and we teach. And we have seen that some of them have become the best, though they never attended the nursery section.
His parents are quite moderate, a single mother, housed by Mwangzi's grandmother. A little farming, casual employment as a core source of their survival.
Tata wange yafandi muto, samulabako, nafandi baby 2 months nafa. Kuzene mukadde oyo mama natukuza buba buto webatyo nga naye apatikana era wano mukulu waffe yamuzimbirawo fe twakulirayo obugerereyo nembeera ng'olaba tuwatanya ndi mukyalo w'abaana 3, ndi single mother, ndi mukyala anti saasoma kiri awo nti nina omulimu nti nagusomerera guli awo era Mukama nampa ekisa obwa single mother wange nenfuna nkwatako omukyala ng'alina pharmacy ye nangamba osobola okujja n'odasitinga nosobola okuba nga osobola ofuna abaana kye basomesebwa n'okulya naye nayambulira obusente bwagenda okumpaayo nengamba yes nsobola okujja nengenda mu pharmacy eyo nkolayo nga nkiliininga nongosa ndasitinga eddagala webito laba nti pharmacy etukula gwe mulimu gwange enkola naye nebaza Mukama nti ambeereddewo nampa ekisa nensobola okubeerawo ng'omukyala nensomesa abaana bange mbasomerezeza mu government schools nebaza Katonda bakola bulungi era omu ku bo mu ssomero lye yakoleddemu eryassa Apollo Manyangwa yasobodde okugyayo 7 aggregates kale ekyo nkyebazisa Mukama n'abasobozesa nga atambula olugendo luwanvu okuva eno Manyangwa ku bigere nga nange siransereze muwagende nti transport naye nga yali determined okulaba nti asoma era n'asobola okufunayo ekyo ng'obapushinga n'ogamba Joshua genda munange ng'olaba naye ayagala basomye nga kuva ku Monday mpaka ku Sunday naye ng'omwana afaayo ng'olaba naye apushinga nagamba mama nja kukola mama nja kuyita nemugamba mweweeyo munange mundaba ndi single mother munyambe musome temunswaza naye abanange Mukama nyambye basomye bulungi era ono omwana yavuddeyo n'7 ku ssomero gye yasomedde.
They barely have no option. Universal primary education is their remedy and proven source of education. In addition, Mwanguzi is his mother's last born, following 2 others who also went to Sir Apollo Kagwa Primary School.
Story ya Mwanguzi bamundeetera wano nimulera kale bunakuza Mwanguzi yatali mwana mubi natandika okusoma nasoma bulungi nga bwayita Mwanguzi tiyagwa okuva wansi nkuza nga mwana mulungi tiyakulanga mwana w'empisa mbi nga ntabatabula nga bw'abaana batabula abazeeyi.
There are different ways of empowering my students to perform very well. First and foremost, as I enter class, I tell them point blank what I want, such that they get to know what is required of them. Secondly, I tell them what is required of them as far as the organization of their work is concerned. And thirdly, I need to raise up their interest, because some of them have got a poor tendency of performing poorly and thinking that mathematics is the most difficult subject. So that is what I want. I first wipe out from their heads, so they get to know and get interest into mathematics as a subject. Even the comments that I make in class, the comments must be encouraging, not like some other people. At least when somebody gives up a right answer, I should appreciate him or her. Very good, thank you, well done, like that. At the end of the day, the pupils or the candidates themselves developed interest into me as a person, as their teacher. Then thereafter, they develop interest in their subject. At the end of the day, they end up doing it.
Mwanguzi is not an isolated case for Sir Apollo Kagwa Primary School. Many pupils have gone through the same school, which has proven queen and kingmaker.
Our school in Wakiso district was awarded this certificate of merit as the best performing UPE school of 2022. This is a program which is carried out by the Education Department in conjunction with the local government, Wakiso District local government, to see and rate their UPE schools. So they have certain parameters they follow. How the school is performing, the enrollment, the stability of the school, the performance as it has gradually been improving, the public relationship with the people, working with NGOs like Rotary clubs, getting some innovations in the school, like in our school we have gardening using minimal space.
Improving the education in this place, especially at Sir Apollo Kagwa Primary School, has done this community so good. By 2014, the enrollment was about 270 children. And on average, daily attendance was about 170, 190. There was a lot of laxity. And to some extent, the community was right to judge us that way. As a church, we stepped up our feet to make sure that we better up the education. In our church, we have got the education department, and all the efforts were triggered towards improving the education in our own facilities.
If a child was able to pass with those flying colors in a UPE school, find a school nearby. I'm going to give an example where I come from, in Bunyaruguru. There is a primary school called Buhinda. The best child had 5, but they wanted to carry a child and take the child to Ontari school. But nearby, in a distance of 10 meters, there is St. Thomas Vocational School. Children got 10 in 8, and out of about 190 students, 96% got first grade. And I'm happy that the parents have listened to that and the child are going to that school.
Professor Augustus Nuagaba is an economist and an educator. He says that the prices of education in Uganda is determined by the capitalistic economy running by the quality of education services.
You know, when UP was introduced, you know, we moved from like 1.8 to 7 million children. You know, in 1997. What does that show you? That there was a very, very unmet need. You get it? The people wanted to take children to school, but they were not able. But the private schools have also mushroomed. Why? Because the growth of the private sector, the growth of the middle income has increased, and the government is saying there are schools which are free. Those who are not able, take your child there. But the government has never said, we don't want people to take children to private school. If you have money, you take your child to private. In America, let me tell you, in America it is worse than here. It is worse than here. In UK it is worse. It is exactly the same thing. If you have money, you take your children to these top universities, the Harvards of this world. If you're in UK and you have money, you take your children to those schools. And the people who don't have money in the UK, the same as who don't have money here, go to the public schools. For them, the difference is that, of course, the quality is, of course, relatively higher, not as here.
In addition, private schools have been credited for more co-curricular activities such as swimming, tennis, and many other games which are not provided for in public schools, leading to higher costs of education.
Parents take their kids to expensive private schools because of the high expectations that they think their children the knowledge they think their kids will acquire from the private schools as compared to government-oriented schools. For example, I happened to study from one of the government schools, and the only co-curricular activity that we used to have was either playing football or netball. And even the number of students was so overwhelming in class that the teacher may not even mind about you, whether you're paying attention or not. So don't expect this private school who gives services to these people who train your children to make you pay as less money as you could have paid in the UPE school.
Buganard, what I remember, the teachers were caring, were direct. Even the way they were teaching, they could understand what the kid needs and adopt it and teach the way that the kid will understand.
If Education Service Commission does not come and prevail on the situation of escalating education cost, is going to be bad. Because first of all, there are so many able children, able students who would make it in life, but they can't. So the education remains a preserve of the people who have. The people who don't have will still remain behind, and that's a problem. And especially most of the people who have, for example, those who have a lot of money, usually end up having children who probably don't even mind about going to school because they are assured of the money from their parents. Whereas if we nurtured the people who don't have, you'd end up having a generation of people who are going to be useful in this country. We are heading for trouble. Unless it is addressed, we are going to end up in trouble. We are going to end up having semi-educated people. We're going to end up having a lot of people who are going to drop out of schools, and we are going to end up having a nation that is not educated.
At the entrance of universities, there is hardly a difference between students from well-to-do families and those presumed of low standards.
Here primary schools, here in Uganda, the primary schools, the private schools are better than the government schools. But at secondary level, there is no private school which beats a government school at secondary level. You still have Wudo, you still have Gayaza, you still have Namagunga. These are government schools. Then the university, which university beats Makerere? So Uganda, the government still is in charge.
We have got a serious disease in this country. The disease of people wanting to maintain status. People think that your status is judged according to where you send your children to. And by so doing, you realize that whoever has a moderate child or a good child in terms of performance will be taken to a private school, because we think that private schools are performing better than government schools. We think the facilities are found in private schools. We think private schools have got more qualified teachers, but that is not the case. When you go in most government schools, you realize that we have average children, and even those that parents think cannot make it. And to me, when you have a 7 in such a school, a 7, you have an 8, you have a 9, you have a 10, or you have a 6 first grades as we performed this time round, and about 75 second grades. It's a very good performance.
Education is not all about money. It's not all about the economic status of the parents, no. The issue is, have you taken your child to an institution which has got all the facilities? Are all the teachers there? Are all the teachers well motivated? That is it. At the end of the day, if we are having the students, if we are having committed staff, everything will just work out itself.
Because people have a wrong mentality that there is no work being done. Please, there is a lot of work being done. And you, the parents, you are the ones to help with teachers, work together, solve issues that affect your children, and your children will perform because they will be comfortable in the school. Feed them, provide scholastic materials, guide them, counsel them. Here in government schools here, we take on all children because this is an inclusive education.
In my P6, the government sent in, they're like instructors, they're like guardians, they're like counselors, and so they had to divide boys and girls about what women face in the society, how a woman is supposed to conduct herself, how a woman is supposed to be, how you can get AIDS, how you can abstain from AIDS, how a woman pads, how a woman reacts when they are being courted, bribed, you know, how to stand up for yourself, how to fight as a woman against anything. They used to teach us about gender balance, gender violence. They used to tell us that even women can become president. So that instilled the passion and the strength to continue to study and love these public schools because, hey, we are strong women out here.
Education pressures seem psychological, discomforting and comforting over the preferences of expensive schools against public schools. Some parents talk about social capital, but does it really serve the purpose?
I think we have a problem. I don't want to call it generational corporate problem. I think we have moved away from our roots. I don't want to use a term when people don't understand it, but I think it can be a generational problem. People want to be associated with expensive things, that high life of living, which is not very good for us as a country. So I am also requesting Ministry of Education, as they make on the regulations for regulating fees, they should go ahead and make regulations. Since now government is putting school in every sub-county in the country, they should guide them and ensure the children remain in the region, study in the regions.
Public schools, still I can say when they're facilitated, they're good to go. Than private schools whereby you have to pay for those facilities, those resources. You have to pay that teacher to watch out for your kid, that teacher to watch out for whatever the studies your kid has to take on. Whereas in public schools, it is a must for these teachers to take on the responsibilities, even without being paid. So I can call upon the government to pay these teachers very well, to facilitate those teachers, to put up resources in those schools so that these kids that are out there can receive good education at a cheaper price.
Professor Nwagaba also hints his fears on the return of investment in Uganda's education to families.
If you're not careful, to be one of the major drivers now for poverty. Why? Because it's expensive and the returns are not commensurate with the cost, the investment. So we must to make positive returns from the investment. All the investment is now very high. You spend a lot of money, people sell land for your information.
The cost units that I can say that were important were like 3. The rest were not. Because these cost units that you can easily adopt with, you can easily be trained for, you know, so which leaves the education sector in quagmire.
A lot is left to be desired, as questions about the worthiness of Uganda's education keep pounding in people's heads as parents hold on to their satisfaction of trying to give the best to their children. American President Bill Clinton remarked of the propensity of any school to produce a president, and he said, "Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource.